is worried
that in the next Trump administration, it will be completely lawless, something, of course, he and the other MAGA created. He's so worried about it that he talks about it at length in his annual report to close out the year. His fear that the executive branch and others will not follow the direction of the judiciary.
Hey, everybody. After that opening, you know where we're going. I'm not beating on the DJT today. I am looking for Chief Justice Robert, the man who created his own Frankenstein and is now afraid of him. So, well, as you can tell, Chief Justice has some concerns. Some of them are just, some of them are of his own creation. And if he's staying awake at night, and this is what's bothering him, not Roe v. Wade, not immigration, not the war in Ukraine, but that the executives in this government are now paying disrespect to the judges, from the federal court judges all the way up to the Supreme Court now. Chief Justice Robert had a few comments in his 2024 year-end report, which he does all the time. I've never read one before, but it came to my attention in the last couple of days that there was a report coming out, and it has just been released. And while it's quite lengthy and wordy, as you would imagine a man of that education and that stature and that vocabulary could do, it's beyond me. So I'm not going to try and do it. I'm going to try and do a couple of pieces here, and I'll include the clips, and I'll include the link down below for where you can find the report and read it yourself. I was called out the other night by a gentleman and it's saying, where's the receipts? And maybe I didn't include enough clips for him. I will be getting back to you. Mike Allen was your name. The reason I remember is I have a friend from New York whose name is Mike Allen. I'm wondering if it's the same guy hawking at me. But anyways, Mike, I'm going to include the receipts for you and for everybody else from now on. That was my oversight. I do apologize for it, but here it goes. So in the overlay, in the B-roll here, you're going to see where the Chief Justice extols about the 1950s and the 1960s, where there was some dissent and rejection of the court's hearings and findings. And that was during racial tensions and racial rights activism. It came around for us, whatever side of the coin you're on that, it was for better. It was the better for everybody. But in there, and I'll read this for you, within the past few years, referring to today, within the past few years, however, elected officials from across the political spectrum have raised the specter of open disregard for federal court rulings. These dangerous suggestions, however sporadic, must be soundly rejected. Well, who do you think's making those comments? I haven't heard Biden come out and say anything. I haven't heard little Biden come out and say anything. I didn't hear the Menendez from New York, who was on trial and was convicted. I didn't hear him saying anything. A lot of people out there, and there aren't a lot of people that are disregarding the rule of law. But here's a little clip for you to remind you what's going on.
I have to be honest with you. It's ridiculous. Somebody said I should not criticize judges. Okay, I'll criticize judges. But I have a judge who is a hater of Donald Trump. A hater. He's a hater. His name is Gonzalo Curiel. And he is not doing the right thing. Judge has been very unfair, has not done a good job. He's been a very bad judge. He's been very unfair. And I will win the Trump University case. I already am as far as I'm concerned. But I will win the Trump University case. This is because I don't care. Because you know what? Why antagonist? Because I don't care. I have a judge who's very, very unfair. But I will say this. I think Judge Curiel should be ashamed of himself. I think it's a disgrace that he's doing this. And I look forward to going before a jury, not this judge. A jury, and we will win that trial. We will win that trial. Check it out. Moments ago, I learned that a district judge in Hawaii part of the much overturned Ninth Circuit Court And I have to be nice, otherwise I'll get criticized for speaking poorly about our courts. I'll be criticized by these people. We're in front of a very hostile judge. The judge was appointed by Barack Obama, federal judge. I mean, frankly, he should recuse himself because he's given us ruling after ruling after ruling, negative, negative, negative. I have a top lawyer who said he's never seen anything like this before. And you people know better than anybody what's happening. It's a disgrace. In my opinion, it's a disgrace what happens with the Ninth Circuit.
Okay, now after all that, yeah, okay, I'm sorry. I did a little bit of bashing there on the boy, but it was to point out what Chief Justice Roberts is truly afraid of. Like I said in the start of this, he created his own Frankenstein, and now he's afraid of the monster. Okay, Justice Roberts was instrumental in helping lay out the immunity decision. I'll put a brief clip in here for you on that also.
He wrote the majority opinion in the 6-3 decision, and here's a portion of what he wrote. He said, the president enjoys no immunity for his unofficial acts, and not everything the president does is official. The president is not above the law, but Congress may not criminalize the president's conduct in carrying out the responsibilities of the executive branch under the Constitution. The Chief Justice went on to say, the president, therefore, may not be prosecuted for exercising his core constitutional powers, and he is entitled, at a minimum, to a presumptive immunity from prosecution for all his official acts. That immunity applies equally to all occupants of the Oval Office, regardless of politics, policy, or party.
For the most part, the way it's read, I don't disagree with everything that he wrote in there. He stated that the president had immunity from things that he did under his capacity as the president. Anything other than that had very questionable results and could be brought up, and he left that at the federal court's ruling. He did not try to take that up and say that it had to come back to him or to the SCOTUS. He felt it could be handled at the level 3 federal judge position. But again, he created the monster, and now he's concerned about it. Okay? If he had not wanted to have this as a problem, July 1st, 2024, and I'm talking to you, Chief Justice Roberts, you should have talked with the liberals. You failed to talk to them. You wouldn't even discuss it with them during their hearings afterwards when John Sorrow, the then lawyer for the ex-president, argued that it was cool for SEAL Team 6 to be called out to kill a political opponent. And he argued that case. Can you believe that? I heard that. I listened to that entire session and thought there's no way that's going to cook in that pot. Okay? I was wrong. It's not the first time, won't be the last time, but it did surprise me. Even at this age, they caught me off guard with it. So, I guess what I'm trying to get at here is Chief Justice hasn't done much with this Supreme Court. He has overlooked all of the transgressions of Justice Alito and the flags being flown over his homes, both locations. The dissension with the American flag, flying the American flag upside down. When I was a young man, that meant you were in distress and that you needed help, and that would draw other people's attention. They would come to you to help you. Or the Don't Tread on Me, the MAGA flags, okay? And then let's just call it for what it is. The purchase and delivery of Justice Thomas, who gets a $400,000 a year salary, folks. That's your money and my money that's paying for that. But yet was able to take $4 million in bribes in just 1 year. And it goes back 10 years now that they've discovered. Throughout the years, that I guess the case got opened up where he got that a trip to some hunting ranch out in Utah. Okay? Then it was, he got a couple of trips overseas. And then it was other gifts, the large motorhome because he doesn't like to fly. kind of like a John Madden thing. And then the grandson getting a full ride scholarship to a college, all by right-wing Federalist Society. Chief Justice Roberts overlooked all of that. And when he was pressed to have a set of standards and review and be held accountable, and an ethics ruling that they needed to have, rules for ethics with the federal judges or with the Supreme Court judges, he himself venomously opposed it as though he were a child being scolded in the school playground that he needed supervision. Well, you need supervision, John, because you're not doing your job, John, and you're not getting done the things that we, the people, would like to see done. By the way you remove a Supreme Court justice is the same way you remove a president. Impeachment. That's enough for tonight, folks. I've railed on things that I thought were really wrong, but this man's really gotten a burr up underneath my saddle, and that's where I'm going to leave this tonight. If you like what I'm trying to do with this channel, if you believe in what I'm trying to do, if you think that the rule of law needs to be upheld, then please like, subscribe, and share my channel. Thank you very much, and good night.